What is up, TIW Mafia? It is the Yeti. It's Josh. Hey, the Green Ant, Chikara Pro, takes about 45 minutes out of his time before training. We got the King of Trios coming up. We just got done with Chikara Rex, EMFM as well. So sit back, relax, enjoy the Green Ant Kayfabe interview. We had a good time. $7.99 Chikaratopia.com. You get the first week free. You get to see folks like the Green Ant and the Colony, as well as so many others, folks. Chikaratopia.com. Enjoy the interview with the Green Ant we did, and again, at 3 Irish Boys with a Z on Twitter. Follow us, win cool shit.
This is the resilient rookie Green Ant of Chikara Pro, and you're listening to the Irish Whip Podcast.
The only pro wrestler I know that wants to do this shit in the morning.
Yeti, you're a f***ing moron.
Put it this way, I think Sami Callihan might as well just change his name to Invader 1.
I want to know why. Like, he can dodge any question. Like, I'll tell anyone that. You can tell me but I'm going to ask specific questions.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
WrestlingNewsSource.com. For all the rest of you yahoos who are out there dilly-dillying you little wankers, we're actually receiving real wrestling news.
This is Brett screwed Brett.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Brett screwed Brett.
Hold 2, arm bar.
Hey, get a nice shot of the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate your hat. I hate your t-shirts. I hate your wristbands. I hate your shoes. I hate your music. I hate the C Nation. I hate everything that you stand for.
Sodas rule.
Yeah, they do.
What's up, everybody? JP here from the Irish Whip. I'm here this week with Josh, and I'm here with another special guest from Chikara Pro Wrestling. One of their greener people. Not quite, but he is Green Ant. How's it going tonight, Green Ant?
Great. I would say I'm even the greenest person, at least physically, compared to everyone else.
Yes. Now, so I want to talk a little about your green. You're not the first Green Ant in Chikara, correct?
Correct. The Green Ant before me, who then succeeded to become Silver Ant, is someone I knew growing up. We all came from the same anthill, so my partner Thief Ant and I watched Fire Ant and Soldier Ant and Green Ant, the original Green Ant, wrestle. So living together in such a small community, we all know each other.
You all kind of stole from the same picnic baskets.
Yes.
Now, so you guys, is it still the Colony? Because I'm seeing now it's a lot of resistance.
It seems like Fire Ant will now let us call ourselves the Colony, which party over here, because I wanted to carry on the legacy of the Colony since I was a young ant. So finally being able to call ourselves the Colony is very exciting for us.
Now, what made you decide to get into professional wrestling as an ant?
Well, much like anyone else that winds up stumbling into a ring, I watched it for years. Found I took great enjoyment out of watching the people in the ring, whether it be my fellow ants or other wrestlers. So one day I just kind of meandered myself into the wrestling ring and found out that falling once, even though it hurts, hooks you for life if you want to be in here.
Now, why did you pick Chikara Pro Wrestling in the school there?
Very simple answer. I've never seen any wrestling ants come out of any other school. So there's a track record for having really good wrestling ants.
This is very true. I also have not seen any successful ants out of any other schools. Now, what is your goal in pro wrestling? Like, what is your mecca where you want to get to?
Well, I feel everyone's big goal in wrestling is always to make it to the WWE or make it somewhere where a financial living is not something you ever have to worry about again. Personally, if I travel the world a bit, see a whole bunch of new faces, make some new friends, I feel like I will be content with my producings as wrestling.
Now, I know we've been talking for a few minutes now, and you're an ant. So ants have, and you have long ass antennas on your head. Is that an advantage or disadvantage in a match?
Well, seeing that I need these antennas to help me see, the longer the better. But on the flip side, it seems as if my opponents find it a very easy hold to grab me from. In every match, without fail, someone tries to grab one a little bit tighter than they should, and I need to remind them that, hey, these are my eyes too, don't you touch me.
Now, that being said, is an eye poke a traditional eye poke? Is that useless against you?
Well, you see, I haven't had anyone try the eye poke yet. Mostly because I've learned a lot of Three Stooges on how to block eye pokes.
Yep.
Yeah, so I feel like all the kids around here know that I'm too smart for that trick, and I can get away from it.
So they played a lot of Three Stooges in the anthill growing up.
Oh yes, certainly. Curly was perhaps some of the favorites.
Now you have a couple of. Man, we interviewed Frantic last week, and it looks like you're going to be facing him in some way or form a couple of times coming up, correct?
Correct. Just announced is my partner Thief Ant and I against Frantic and Calyx on the Hour Power, August 18th. And then we found out on Monday, this past Monday, that we're facing the Proteus Wheel in the first round of King of Trios, August 31st.
Now today, what Frantic told us in that interview, actually, we're recording this on Tuesday the 7th. We just put that out this morning, and what he told us was that the King of Trios is not a tournament to them; it's a slaughter, and that they're going to slaughter everybody. When I questioned the what if something happens, what if there's a fluke, he threatened to find me and then slaughter me. Does facing someone like that put a little bit of fear into you?
Certainly. They're three genetically modified monsters that have been put together for nothing but destruction. And I'm sure you've seen pictures of us ants. We're not the biggest dogs in the fight.
I've actually been to quite a few. I haven't had a chance to see you. I did see your predecessor quite a few times in person.
Compared to these genetically modified monsters, we're not physically imposing to them. But I think we have some cunning, we have some wits, and we have the teamwork to put us together to take them out.
Now, the ants have never been the biggest wrestlers, but they've been some of the more successful within Chikara. So I think you guys stand a pretty good chance, and I think King of Trios is going to be a good tournament for you guys.
I sure hope so.
I really think that legitimately is like one of my favorite tournaments. I say it all the time. Like I used to do ring crew for the company when Chikara came to Boston, would get the ring from. So I've been a part of that. And we used to drive down to King of Trios a couple of times a year. Well, we used to drive down to King of Trios to Philadelphia for Chikara, but specifically for King of Trios every year. We would go down for 1 day, 2 days, whatever, and make a nice road trip out of it with the buddies. And saw some of the best matches I've ever seen in my life there. 1, 2, 3 Kid versus El Generico. It's one of the best matches. Legitimately one of the best matches I've ever seen. So, but the ants, so with the colony, I got to see, I think it was probably the first Purple Heart chant for Soldier Ant when Chuck Taylor dropped the grenade and he threw everybody out of the ring, and it was like watching it in slow motion. If you've seen that,
Chuck Taylor and his nasty invisible grenades. I'm glad we haven't seen them around for a while.
Now, you guys, so you have a lot to kind of live up to, and like, other than the other Green Ant, who did you look up to the most as a wrestler?
Well, it's a crazy question to think about for me, because sitting in the crowd watching my ant friends, and then who else shows up but Mike Quackenbush and a whole bunch of Chikara. And Mike Quackenbush is an amazing technician. Master 1,000 holds, and can do pretty much anything. So watching him also inspired me to try to up my game every single time.
Yeah, and Mike is amazing to watch. Everything he does is like done to a perfection that I haven't seen anyone do everything that perfect before.
Yeah.
You know, if Mike does a flip, that flip is executed perfectly. If Mike drops a drop kick, it's a perfect drop kick. Everything he does is just, I say it's like he's intentful watching him. Everything he does has some kind of intention behind it.
Yeah, I certainly agree.
Now, I've been talking to you now, and I've been making some observations. And one of the observations I made, I know you claim, you say you're an ant and you're from the anthill, but you're human size. I have a suspicion that Green Ant could possibly be my good friend Anthony Green, or Ant Green, if you will.
Anthony Green and I have shared the ring together. If you check back on Chikarapro, Young Lions Cup, Night 1, you can find us pretty similar next to each other.
Okay. The Chikarapro is $7.99 a month, guys. I just watched that, so I should have known. But $7.99 a month, and you get hundreds of hours of entertainment of Chikara.
There's officially 19 seasons on there. You can go back and start watching Chikara from day one.
It's insane.
It is, and this season specifically, any event that we have at the Wrestle Factory is live streamed to Chikarapro. So if you can't make it out to us, you can still watch us.
Except for King of Trios this year, which leads me to kind of butt in a little bit, JP.
Yeah, go right ahead.
10th anniversary King of Trios, correct?
Yep.
10th anniversary. Last time the Colony won this was your predecessor in the Green Ant. Do you feel like you guys have what it takes to go deep into the King of Trios as the resist ants?
I certainly feel as such. The team we have, Thief and I have worked together for so long, and Fire brings so much experience that I'd be disappointed in myself if I don't go far.
Let me ask you this other question as a spin-off from what we've talked about before. Being part of the Colony and being an ant, what are your feelings, or how do you feel about intergender wrestling in the King of Trios?
I welcome it. Anyone that steps between those ropes, they're tough. So if they want to stand up and challenge ants, I'm ready to go.
But you look at the girls that are going to enter that ring at Chikara, and I mean, there's a few, the Chikara regulars, if you will, the solo darlings and stuff. They can hang with anybody.
No, absolutely. And flying in this year, we have Madison Eagles, who is 6'1", so she's taller than the ants. Throws dead big kicks. Just world traveled, world renowned. The division by gender means nothing here in Chikara because everyone that comes into that ring is super tough.
Now, is there anyone in the King of Trios tournament that you're looking forward to getting your hands on or getting your antennas on?
Well, certainly. The Fist Order is in, and any chance I have to put a boot to their face, I will take it.
Yeah, Fist is always... Fist, going back, has kind of always been the main kind of bad guys in Chikara, right?
Certainly. They've always been around as guys that like to stir the pot and cause trouble and chaos wherever they're at.
And friends in similar tights.
I just don't know about how similar these ones are, besides the yellow tail that they have running down their back. Looking at Travis Huckabee over here.
Now, and that's the thing is, like, with Chikara, 19 years, and the continuity has always been there.
Certainly. I mean,
there's wrestling companies now that can't keep continuity in month to month, and they're on television, you know?
I think the main thing here is that it's all happening to us. This is all just the life that we're living. Why would I ever forgive anyone that decides to put on the big fish logo on their tights for what they tried doing to the original Worker Ant, or what they tried doing to the Worker Ant 2? There's no reason I should respect any of those people.
The original Worker Ant was it the original Worker Ant that eventually wound up channeling Stan Hansen?
It certainly was.
That was
Stan the Lariat Hansen. He was king of the town here.
I stand corrected. Stan Hansen. He was incredible to watch. And like I said, the colony all along, from Fire Ant, Green Ant, and now yourself and Thief Ant, are kind of like, I know Chikara's like very comic book type with their artwork and stuff, but you guys are very much like the Young Justice to the Justice League, if you will.
I will accept that.
Here's the thing is that Chikara influences so many things, because you take bar wrestling, for example, new and start up and going. They are specifically using comic book referrals to their pay-per-views or their shows that they're showing right now. So it's a huge. I mean, it's influenced everybody, and I could sit here for probably hours and go through the list of people that are currently in almost any promotion worldwide. But the coolest thing is that the colony has always been part of it.
Yes.
It's very exciting on my end.
What does it mean for you? I know being part of the colony and being part of the resistance for the King of Trios, what does it mean being able to be part of the Wrestle Factory and knowing that you guys had your first master class, plus Quack just put out his podcast on what it takes to be a professional wrestler, how to convey a message even when you don't have people backing you? How important is it to you, just getting started as a green ant, to have that at your disposal?
The knowledge I've gained from the Wrestle Factory has been tremendous. There's no better place, I feel, to come and learn and be well-rounded in everything. They teach everything. They teach production. They teach in-ring work and the outside stuff that you need as well. I'm so grateful for the knowledge I've learned at the Wrestle Factory.
Is there a mantra that you guys as the colony live by when you're there training? I know you guys are training here probably the next half hour to 40 minutes. When you guys train together, is there something that you guys do on a regular basis just as the colony?
Well, we've certainly come together with some moves. Steve and I are always working to improve our tag team wrestling, make our stuff tighter, make our stuff different so people don't see it coming. There's a general rule in the Wrestle Factory to try something out, try something new, try something different every day. So we try to take that to heart and see what new experiences we can bring to ourselves.
What kind of disciplines are you guys learning while you're at the Wrestle Factory?
Oh, well, Steve loves to steal his opponent's style, so he has to learn a little bit of everything. He needs to know everyone's forte to snag and take. I tend to lean heavier towards Lucha Libre, while also mixing in some World of Sports style, and maybe some like American submission type holds.
No. World of Sports style is way before you were around. Do you go back? How often are you going back and watching tapes and stuff?
As often as I can. There's plenty of World of Sport matches on YouTube now, and just seeing how those guys handle themselves, because their matches are significantly longer than the matches that I've been in. Some 30 minutes for the most part. That takes great endurance, and so finding out how they keep up with themselves, what they do differently to stay composed is very important.
And Chikara, like King of Trios, they've been known to bring in guys from that era.
Certainly, and even the last 2 years, we've had the Johnny Kidd Invitational Tournament, which just showcases great technical wrestlers. And I got to be a part of it this year and wrestle Colt Cabana, losing to Colt Cabana. But I threw in a few tricks that he didn't see coming.
That was an amazing match. Colt is he's a one of a kind. Truly.
It was an honor to be in the ring with him, and it was an honor to almost get him to tap out too.
Now, what's your dream match?
Oh man, the dream match. There's so many for me right now, just because of how new I am to wrestling in general. If I could weasel a match out of Mike Quackenbush, I feel like everyone wants to weasel a match out of Mike Quackenbush. There's a guy in Mexico that I wrestled in a trios match just once, and he and I don't know that we even touched. But his name's Polvora, and he wrestles for CMLL, and he looks like a guy I wanna wrestle more.
Okay, so you really are more that lucha style than traditional, I'd say, huh?
Oh yeah, the higher I can fly and the less you can catch me, the better.
Now, I know you're very green in this, but have you had the chance to do any traveling?
I've been to Canada and 5 states.
Well, 5 states in 2 countries, basically. Mm-hmm. That's impressive. When did you actually go from a training ant to being in the ring? How long ago?
February 2nd of this year is when I had my very first match in Massachusetts, I believe.
Was that for Chaotic?
It was.
Okay. I had seen that advertised, and I don't know why, but I didn't. I'm up in Boston. I didn't get to that show. That's right, Josh. Josh is in Montana.
He's a spoiled asshole. He doesn't do anything.
Josh is in Montana, where they don't have wrestling.
September 21st. Man. September 21st, the E is finally coming to beat America.
Finally.
But I tease them all the time because I'm like, I could go to a show Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but
even Thursday up that way.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, Chaotic does Fridays all the time. Chaotic, I think they're the 3rd Friday of the month every month, and then there's random shows during the UFO wrestling. They run on Wednesdays and Thursdays all the time.
Crazy schedule up there.
It's fun. It's a good place to be. But Philly, for a while, was like that as well. But you guys were kind of the top of it because Chikara's always managed to kind of differentiate themselves.
Certainly.
It's a completely different style. It's a different, when everybody else wanted to be extreme, Chaotic went, we're going to be the family-friendly show. And it was different, and it's still different than what anyone else does, and that's what makes it awesome. I mean, we got a carload of 5 or 6 grown men to go down to a family-friendly wrestling show. And I just threw my quotes up, not that anyone could see with YouTube. And that's what made it fun. The holy poop chants and stuff like that. The fans... What Chikara figured out, that ECW figured out, was you didn't have to be selling out 20,000 person arenas. What you had to do was sell out the arenas you had and involve the crowd to get them back. The crowd is very much a part, whether it's slow motion chanting or holy poop chants instead of the other word. Stuff like that, and it's cool that you guys all figured out how to do it, and someone like you being really new into the business is learning that aspect of it.
Certainly. I mean, it's even the formula that's worked well for NXT. The same building with the same people that come in. PWG works when they had Rosita still. It's the crowd is a much bigger part than what they might even think themselves. The noise that the energy you get from the crowd in your match can change the tide even. I've had bursts of energy just from the crowd cheering for me to make a tag. It's really it's a feeling I can't explain.
it gets that adrenaline rush into you, and you get that, you get that boost that you need, whether it's throwing a clothesline or getting up and just getting to your corner to make the tag to defense. The crowd is huge. Mm-hmm. And that's...
I think Wheeler Yuta put it the best when he talked about how professional wrestling is a spontaneous, instant play that characters put together. They may have not even known each other for the last 5 minutes, but they can yet put an entire play on for the audience. And that's the part I think that Chikara does so well, is they put on a fantastic show on a consistent level. And I don't even call them gimmicks anymore, because they're not. They are just complete characters in everything that they do, and they believe in them. And that's, we've got a real live ant here.
My question goes along with that, being a real life ant. When you walked into a locker room and you're carrying your ant bag over your shoulder, how did the human wrestlers take to an ant being in the locker room and sharing it with them?
I've gotten some funny looks from some. Some that they don't know how to react, and to them, I just look at them and ponder what thoughts we go into their mind. How often do you see an ant wrestler walk in and then have a terrific match and come back? It's something that's unique to the life I've lived. And to expose someone that hasn't seen this, it brings a smile to my face and a chuckle every time.
No. Have you been are you used to being judged like that, though, because it's been happening your whole life, or is it something that was new to just wrestling with you?
Walking down the street in an ant mask will get you a bunch of funny looks. If you check out Excellence Professional Wrestling's Facebook page, you can see I played the boar in a round of Jenga at was it Lansdale Day this year. Okay. And we drew a crowd because how often do you see an ant and a pig play Jenga? Not very often, I can tell you that, because the boar and I don't like each other enough to play Jenga.
Well, it's the boar's birthday today, is it not?
It certainly is. I would say happy birthday, because he's a big fluff ball, but he smacked me in the face at the last Excellence show, and it hurt.
He's a big filthy pig.
Happy birthday.
Yes, that's the best birthday I'll give him. Happy birthday.
I just smacked my forehead for all you people that couldn't see it. So how does a boar and an ant, how do you even play Jenga?
There's a radio station that had Jenga out, and I started with the first move, and he reciprocated and then tried knocking it over, but my superior ant engineering saved it, and then I won after he decided he couldn't go anymore.
I swore I wasn't going to lose it during this conversation, but I think I just lost it.
It's a sight to see for sure.
Picturing this is just, that's funny. Now, do you train the same, or is there separate training for the ants?
Well, in general, we try to train the Technicos and the Rudos a little bit separate from each other, mostly because I don't want them knowing my secrets. Which makes my match at Chikara Rex really interesting, because in that match, besides the Creatures of the Deep and Fist, is the Cyberhawks 2000. And I train with those guys all the time. So I have to come up with something new. Thief and I will have to talk outside of the Wrestle Factory and figure out what we can do to surprise them.
Well, if you guys can hold it together and team up the four of you for a little while, you don't have to worry about that till the end of the match.
True, but in this match, a four-corner elimination match, there's a chance for one team to walk out with 3 points, and I will not let that opportunity pass me by.
No, that's a tag. That's a
Campeonatos de Parejas title shot right there.
So for everybody that's not, and you guys are talking about this specifically, for everybody that's not, and the people that listen to our podcast aren't necessarily Chikara fans. And what you guys are talking about right now, and I know, and that's my job, is to make sure they don't know that it takes points. They don't know that it's not called a tag championship. They don't know. So when you're talking about 3 points and wins in the, how do you explain that to the average person that is going to check out Chikara for the first time?
Certainly. For any title shot in the Chikara promotion, you need to gain 3 points. You gain points by consecutive wins. So that's pinfall or submission, or your opponent disqualifies himself or gets counted out. Each time you win a match, you get 1 point. You need to collect 3 in a row to get a title match. In our land, the tag team titles are the Campeonatos de Parejas, stolen from Spanish as the champions of pairs. And then we have the Grand Championship of Chikara, which is our essentially the biggest title for singles competitors.
Right, and once you collect those points, you get your challenge and you lose. If you lose, you've got to win 3 more consecutive matches before you can get another chance, correct?
Correct, and if you have your 3 points, and in that month, say your grand champion is already defending his title against someone, and you get put in a match and you lose that match, your 3 points go away. You aren't guaranteed your 3 points, so you got to work hard to protect them.
It's the most strategic championship system in pro wrestling, and it's incredible because you'll see 2 guys that have 2 points each go at it with each other. One of them gets it all, and one of them literally loses everything.
Here's how it transfers for me is because right now Progress is traveling through the United States, and they're using an almost identical same point system to when they get back over across the pond. So it's influencing everybody. At some point in time, Chikara has influenced somebody somewhere at some point in time in this business or in this industry.
Absolutely. Now, do you mind when people call it championships? Because I'm Boston Irish, I just can't pronounce words.
I understand when saying Campeonatos de Parejas does not roll off the tongue as easily as it does for the people here. But that's okay. You just need to know that when Thief Ant and I get 3 points, we're going for the Campeonatos and we're winning. And then you can just call us champs.
I want to hear you say it, JP. I want to hear you say it.
Columbus Day Parade.
Oh, that was so close.
You are so Irish.
It's what I hear. But no, I'm rooting for you guys because I think you guys would be good guys to hold the belt. I think watching people chase you guys for the belt could be enjoyable. Because you guys, you and Defant, and I don't think you guys are going to back down from too many people.
We haven't yet.
Now, who is it in King of Trios with you and Defant? Is it Soldier Ant?
It's Fire Ant. Soldier Ant was retired.
This is what amazes me about you, Green Ant, is that you know almost everything there is about the colony.
Oh, well, I've lived it, so of course I know it.
You're a colony savant.
Now, your actual history, so I understand that you've lived with all of these ants. But your actual history of them in Chikara, when did you actually start really studying that?
Certainly, they pop up on our waves around when Fire Ant and Soldier Ant start teaming together. So they come in, they start teaming in Chikara. And around the anthill, where Thief Ant and I are still young, so you just hear grumblings of like, hey, Fire Ant and Soldier Ant are out in the world doing Chikara, and you hear about it. But how much am I paying attention outside the anthill? Who knows? Not much. Around the time that Worker Ant was Larry Anson was when it really picked up on paying attention and seeing how they are doing this and how interesting it can be.
Okay, now I have this is kind of an off wrestling question for you. You say you and Defant are outside at a park and you see a family having a picnic, and it's like the picnic of all picnics. What are you asking Defant to get from you? To get for?
Well, I never asked Defant to take anything, but he knows I love watermelons, so he might bring some back.
Okay.
But I would never ask Defant to take anything for me. No.
You are a good guy. I'm sorry I asked that, but that's I don't know. I just feel like that's a question I had to ask an aunt. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. I certainly don't want to encourage thievery, because that's wrong and it's amoral. But
you stand on the side of the morals, and I do get that.
Someone's got to keep us in balance.
Yeah, I mean, I think ants I think, if people watch Chikara a little more, they'll realize how bad of a rap some ants get, because sometimes humans talk bad about ants.
I've seen, I even had an exterminator tweet at me once about how he'd like to get rid of me, to which I referred him to a very enjoyable match that I had and told him to lighten up, I guess.
Is that...
Go ahead, G.
Did that really happen?
Correct. Yeah, there's an exterminator that tagged me in a post and said he couldn't wait to exterminate me. Thankfully, he lives in Tennessee and he doesn't work around the Philadelphia area, so I've been trying to avoid Tennessee for a bit.
That's funny. Now, there are exterminators within the Philadelphia area. I'm sure of it. It's a big city. What happens if one comes into a Chikara show as a fan? Are you just going to pray that they realize that you're a good guy?
Certainly. And if they were ever to come back with a can of say, Raid, I would make sure they get stopped at the door, and they would no longer be welcome in the anthill.
Well, weapons aren't allowed inside of the arena, so that should stop. Now, what's the because I know you've done a lot of podcasts lately.
Mm-hmm.
What's the misconception that podcasters get about you feel? Like, is there something that we've all missed?
I'm trying to, mostly the biggest thing that people miss, and not just podcasters, but people in general that come across the Green Ant, they mistake me for the old Green Ant, and I'm not him. I respect him, and I respect his work, but I'm gunning to be better than the old Green Ant.
Well, he had shorter antennas, I believe, right?
Correct.
You've got some pretty long antennas there, and I don't know. The reason I asked the question earlier is I feel like that seems like it'd just be something else for the people to grab, like the girls with the long hair. And
it is, and as long as the referees know how to do their job, it gets kiboshed rather quickly.
You got some great refs down there with JP and with Bryce, so I think you're in pretty good hands down there.
Yeah. It's when I start traveling that I need to really watch.
Yes. Yeah, I can tell you the refs are chaotic and nowhere near as good. They're all going to kick my ass next time I see them.
Is there, if anybody wants to get a hold of you specifically, Green Ant, if somebody wants to, and I'm not talking specifically about exterminators, but if there is somebody out there that may have been lost from the colony at some point in time, or would like to contact you directly, how do they get a hold of you on your social media? Where do they have to go, and what do they have to do to get a hold of you?
Certainly. My Twitter and Instagram are the same. It is @_greenant_. My Facebook is facebook.com/greenantwrestlers. And if you needed to email me, it's greenantwrestles@gmail.com.
Is there a preferred way for promoters that might want to book you as, an ant would be like a showcase match? For them, would that be the email probably?
Yeah, emails work for me. My Twitter's always open. I check my email daily. So wherever they wind up trying to hit me, I will find it and catch it out of the sky.
Cool. I personally want to tell you thanks for taking your time, Green Ant. It's always a good time to have somebody specifically from the Resistance and the Colony joining us. It's been a long time, and as you can tell, I think we're Chikara marks. I can call myself that. I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with that.
I have been for a long time. Proud of. You guys have such a different product, such a fun product, and it's some of the most technical wrestling in a fun environment, and that's what makes it family friendly. Like, you can bring your grandkids to the show if you're old enough to have grandkids. You can bring the little ones to the show, and they're not going to see anything that they won't see on daytime television.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've even had my nan-aunt there. So she's come out. My nan-aunt.
Is that the Queen Aunt?
Well, she's the retired Queen Aunt. She's passed her crown down. She still likes to come out and make a trip.
Her egg birthing days are over, JP.
That's cool. Like, that your family can show up, and the aunts that aren't in the business can show up and support the aunts that are. This has been one of the most. So we did last week with Frantic, and you guys are polar opposites. Like, Frantic, I think, threatened both of us at one point. Josh was ready to give him my home address to tell him where to come. And you've just been such a gentleman about the whole thing, and it's incredible. I can tell you right now, from having been a long-time fan of Chikara and having been at a lot of Chikara shows, you are kind of the embodiment of what they are.
That's the biggest compliment I could have ever received.
So, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate, the Colony is one of the things that stands out in my mind. I can't freaking talk, but stands out in my mind, like, going back to my first Chikara shows. So
it was to the point where I had to save up money. It's not, I can't pay $7.99 and go back and watch every Chikara match. I used to pay $25 every month to Quack and Books, his little pocketbook for the DVD, and I still look forward to doing that, but it's so nice to have it where I can just go back and watch.
As much as I love the DVD covers, like the access Chikaratopia gives me, I have to forgive them.
Well, the cool thing is that my two nieces are going to be up here. They're going to watch their first ever Green Ant match tonight, and they're going to be introduced to Chikara Pro. And on behalf of them and me and the Irish Whipman, I just want to tell you thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you got to get to training here in the next 15 minutes, but you just keep doing what you're doing, and we will just keep doing what we do to help out.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. The Green Ant podcast tour couldn't go on without you guys.
Yeah, TIW Mafia, thank you again for listening to the interview. It's the Yeti. It's Josh. Greatly appreciated. Follow us on Twitter at 3 Irish Boys with a Z. That's the number 3 Irish Boys with a Z on Twitter. Also, we got a great show coming up where we're going to try to pick or select or outmark our boys from Talkmania who do a great job covering the E. So watch for that here the next week as the matches are announced. We may even try to get them on the show. See if we can have a small little debate. But until then, folks, thanks again for listening to Irish Whip. It's great. On behalf of JP, I am the Yeti, and we'll talk to you guys soon.